obsessed with TLC and all the trashy reality TV. It's a recap. It's a recap. It's a recap. Hi, welcome back to another 90 Day Fiancé recap. I don't know where to look. Oh my God, I'm using my phone again. And I'm always used to looking into my laptop camera when I talk, but now I'm filming on my phone because of this new filter. And now I gotta look down into this camera, but so anyway, I'm just used to looking into my laptop camera. So if I'm looking up, that's why. Okay. But I'll try to remember to look down. Whatever. Okay. Oh, so confusing. All right. Welcome back to another recap of The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 2. I'm going to be speaking in a softer voice because my parents are home. And y'all know my parents don't really know what I do, okay? They don't know I talk about reality TV. Why'd I say it like that? Yeah, I just don't. I'd rather not have them listen because the last time I swore, like I said a curse word, my mom texted me and said, "Watch your mouth." I was like, oh my God, someone get me out of here. I love my parents. Okay, so let's get into The Other Way. So this episode was pretty heavy with James and Matalia, and then we got a little bit of Sarper and Shekinah, and then we got introduced to Dempsey and Statler. I don't think I'm going to cover them because Statler pretty much exposed their entire season. She revealed that they're not even together. Their relationship wasn't even real. Well, from her end it was because she was being genuine. But she found out that Dempsey cheated on her and she was sleeping with a productions assistant like the whole time. And now they're no longer together, obviously. And she feels used and abused. And so because we know the outcome, I just don't find them interesting enough for me to want to cover them. So I'm going to put them aside for now. Okay, never say never. So I'll put them aside for now. And let's start with Sarper and Shekinah. Now, Shekinah's getting ready to leave for Turkey finally, and she's traveling with her dog this time. And during this trip, she wants him to get rid of his bottle collection and his little black book. Now, if you guys are new to this couple, he has a large alcohol bottle collection and a little black book, and it's basically him keeping track or little trophies of every woman that he slept with. Oh God, by the way, side note, ever since I learned how to say women, like the plural of woman, that's all I hear now, women. So I never realized this because I used to pronounce it the same. Woman, many woman, and a woman. But somebody was like, oh, it's women. And I was like, okay, what? Why? Now that I know how to say women, all I hear these days is the improper pronunciation of women. So many people say woman, like many woman. I thought I was the only one, but now that's all I hear. Many woman, these women. And I was like, women. No shade though, because I said woman for the longest time. Anyway, basically the alcohol bottle collection in the little black book has record of all the women that he slept with. So the friend is like, what are you going to do if he doesn't get rid of those things? And Shekinah has a 143-page letter that she got from her ex when she was only 16 years old, and she's going to rub that in Sarper's face. She's going to be like, I'm just going to give him a little taste of his own medicine and see how it feels for him. But I'm thinking, is Sarper really going to be affected by a guy you dated 30 years ago? She basically has that letter because when they were young, they were forbidden to see each other. So they wrote letters to communicate. And that's how she accumulated 143 pages. And she had saved it to this day.
My very first boyfriend, when I was 16 years old, wrote me a letter that's 143 pages long.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. I was like, let me just bring this with me to Turkey and put this and give him a dose of his own medicine and see how he does with something from my past.
All right, now they get to the airport and I felt so bad watching her dog in the crate and going off into cargo. Like I never really even thought about what it looked like for dogs to be shipped in cargo. And I Googled a picture and it's so awful. Like I really wish there was a better way. And I hope that there is going to be a better way in the upcoming years, considering more and more people are getting dogs. I mean, some people my age in my generation, the millennials, are foregoing having children and getting dogs instead. So like, please make a better way. Now, I'm fortunate enough to where I can bring my dogs on the flight because they're small dogs, but for the medium and bigger size dogs, This is terrible. And especially if the dog has anxiety and they can't deal with loud noise. I can't even imagine how loud it is in that section of the plane. Anyway, while I was Googling what it looked like for dogs to fly, I saw this picture and I literally thought that's what dogs looked like when they flew. I thought they all got their own seats with their own chauffeur. They got a doggy TV with some dental bones and treats that they could eat during the flight. Now, that is not the case. But I know that the owner or the creators of BarkBox, they just started a Bark airline where people can fly with their dogs and the dogs can sit on the seats. They get treats and all that good stuff. So hopefully that'll become more mainstream. So anyway, enough about dogs. Back to Sarper and Shekinah. So Sarper goes to the airport. He picks up Shekinah and he's crying. Was anyone shook to see him cry? Mr. Alpha? Like, I thought he wasn't allowed to cry, according to him. So there is a heart in there. He's not soulless. He seemed a little nervous about having the dog. Sarper mentioned that he's not a dog guy. He's always been a cat guy. But I have a feeling that he's going to fall in love with Adonis. I really do. They get to his apartment, and the very first thing Shekinah is hit in the face with is that ginormous cabinet with all the different empty alcohol bottles. She's like, oh my God, Sarah, you still have that alcohol bottle? I thought, wait, that's my gypsy voice. Never mind. Anyway, she was saying that she was hoping he'd surprise her somehow by getting rid of everything. And he didn't. It's still there in the same spot.
I know, you don't like it.
I hate it. Not that I don't like it, I literally hate it.
I kind of thought Sarper's gonna surprise me and I'm gonna walk in and they're gonna be gone. It really pisses me off.
Moving on to James and Matalia. God, James is so frustrating. He was so annoying in this episode. Okay, we'll get into it. But James is basically driving Matalia to catch her flight to Indonesia. And I found it absolutely insane that she was not able to say goodbye to her in-laws because James didn't want to tell them about their move. They still have no idea. So they're going to come home from work and see that Matalia is gone. They're going to be like, where's our daughter-in-law? And James is going to be forced to tell them something. Like, he has to tell them then, right? That's weird. I don't understand why he didn't tell them. Like, I get he put it off for a while because he felt bad and he didn't want to, like, confront them about it. But to not tell them at all, that's just weird. That's weird. Now, as he's driving her to the airport, he finds out that he's not going to be making any money working for her dad. And she was like, it's family. Of course we're not going to accept any money. And then he's like, okay, then how are we going to survive? I thought that's how we were going to provide for ourselves. And he's like, I don't want to go there anymore if we're not going to have jobs. And then she's like, oh, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to buy the banana chips from my dad, like wholesale. And then we're going to move to a different city. Or actually, no, I don't think she said she was moving to a different city. My brain is not braining today. They're going to go to a different city to sell the banana chips. And he's like, okay, how soon do you think we'll make a profit? And she's like, I don't know. Banana chips are very common. Okay, they're going to be really hard to sell because everywhere has them. We're basically going to be fighting. There's going to be so much competition. And he's like, I don't feel confident about that. I don't want to go there if we're not going to have a plan, if we're not going to be able to make any money, blah, 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 blah.
So how long do you think it'll take us before we make any type of money?
That's the thing. It's so many banana chips in Indonesia.
You're making it sound like it's not going to be profitable. Like, yes or no? Are we going to make money or not? Yes or no?
Yes, we can.
He mentions how he hates having this conversation very last minute as she's about to board the plane. And she's like, well, do you think I enjoyed learning last minute about JoJo? And he doesn't have anything to say. Oh God, they're just both really bad at communicating because yeah, I get that James didn't tell her, but like, wouldn't you have questions? Unless she did keep asking and he kept putting it off like, okay, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. I have it handled. I'd like to know, was she asking the questions or was she not? I'm not blaming her. Ultimately, it's James's fault. I don't know. Anyway, it was very awkward. They're arguing, and I just have no idea why they didn't have this conversation before, like a long time ago. But I guess in terms of the job, James was completely relying on Matalia to have that all figured out, just like how Matalia was relying on James to have the dog stuff figured out. I don't know.
Now I have a lot more concern about all this. I don't feel as confident about us being able to be a success over there and me being able to provide for you.
So now you're not gonna move?
I didn't say that.
I don't know. It sounds like you're not.
So they're done arguing, and now they have to say goodbye. So they quickly make up because they don't want to leave on a bad note, which I do agree with. And so they hug and they kiss and they cry. Now 1 month passes by, and James has been working his little booty off, and he's been trying to save as much money as possible in time for him to go to Indonesia. But guess who still doesn't know he's moving? Yeah, his whole entire family still doesn't know, and he's going next week. I thought for sure after Matalia left, he would tell them. What did he tell them? Why is Matalia gone? They're going to be like, where is she? Why'd she go to Indonesia without telling us? Oh my God, I can't believe he still hasn't told his family.
This last month, I have been working as hard as possible to make as much money as I possibly can. Every time we're on the phone, we just sit there and just cry, missing each other. It's just tough. There's already so much still for me to do before I leave, and I'm just mentally drained. I've got nothing left in the tank.
And this is not the first time he's done this either. He was married once before, and his first wife also hated Maine. It was too cold for her, and she wanted to move somewhere warm like Florida. And she gave him an ultimatum. She was like, if you're not going to leave with me, I'm just going to go by myself. And so he made the decision to move with her because they're married. So he tells his family last minute, and it caused the family business to have to downsize. They couldn't find enough mechanics to do the job. And I guess him leaving the family business and moving so far away just caused a lot of chaos and trouble for the business. And I feel bad for family businesses because from my experience, it's just not fun. It's not fun. So he still feels terribly guilty for doing that to his family. I mean, if his parents had so much trouble the first time around finding enough mechanics to take over his job, what makes him think it's going to be any easier this time? So he invites his brother and his brother's wife over to give them the news. Jimmy asks James, so when's Matalia coming back? And then James goes, well, brother, she's actually not coming back. I'm actually joining her. Okay, so then when are you guys coming back?
So the plan is to permanently make the move over there. And I leave in a week.
You leave in a week?
And Mom and Dad do not know.
I mean, you gotta tell them.
Yes, I'm gonna be telling them tomorrow.
So I'm guessing you're quitting?
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
Apparently, James promised Matalia's dad that when they move to Indonesia, he's going to learn the language, he's going to be a provider, and he's going to give him grandchildren. Speaking of grandchildren, he doesn't really want kids anymore. With the state of the world and after COVID, he just doesn't want them anymore. But guess who doesn't know? Yeah, his wife doesn't know. He hasn't told her yet. He hasn't told her, and she most definitely, absolutely, positively wants kids. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. He needs to tell her as soon as possible because even James, as he's saying this, he realizes Matalia wants kids, and if I tell her, I'm afraid that she's going to leave me. So he's very much aware, and he's not telling her on purpose. Oh my God, you guys, I can't deal with him. I can't. I really, really can't.
When I made the promises, that was 5 years ago, and the world was a different place. So I'm not sure children are in the cards for me.
Have you talked to her about that?
I don't want to bring up that discussion until we're steady on our feet anyways.
Right, but is children one of them? Will you give her a child one day?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. That's
really
can't
important.
answer that yet. There's no point to bring that up and try to throw more drama into the whole situation. I'm just trying to show her that I'm willing to do anything for her out of love for her.
Well, that's it for this recap. I'm so sorry for the low energy. One, like I told you guys, my parents are right here. I don't want them to hear me. And two, I'm really freaking tired. I could barely keep my eyes open. My mind, I have like brain fog today, so I can't think clearly. I feel like lately I just have so many issues. I do. And I got to figure something out. I got to figure out a plan so that I can feel better. Well, that's it for the recap. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.
We're obsessed with TLC, all the trashy reality. 90 Day Fiancé is the best. Can't get enough, need no rest. It's a recap, it's a recap.